He is in the house. We call him the investigator. We're talking about Jimmy Leach. Jimmy, good morning.
Good morning, Steve.
Everything going well?
Yes, sir, buddy. Going great. Going great.
Yes, sir. It's good to have you in.
Always good to be here.
Man, it's well, I guess it's always a busy time. We talk about law enforcement related issues, but going international, we had a Dutch reporter that was gunned down outside his home in Amsterdam.
Yeah, man. He was a famous Dutch reporter. He had won several international awards and gained notoriety, international notoriety on was her name Holloway, one of the girls that came up missing down in the islands years ago.
Yes, years
He did a real in-depth investigative report on that. Supposedly, and they're not saying this is why he got shot. He's not dead. He just got shot.
Right.
But he was acting, of course, their justice system's different. He was acting as what they're calling a consultant to a witness who is testifying against a crime boss over there, who is charged with having several people killed.
Okay.
So,
So immediately raise eyebrows.
yeah,
Just
it kind of, if it looks like a duck, walks like a duck,
Right. Here we go. We had another thing, an unusual case, and that is Gene Siller, who was a golf pro, Kennesaw, Georgia, outside of Atlanta, that was killed at a golf course. But they think now that he walked up on a crime being committed, right? Is that the theory? I mean,
that's
but that suspect has still not been caught, right?
That's right.
Okay.
They hadn't identified it. So, well, as far as we know, they hadn't identified it.
There had
yeah.
descriptions, but
It's just all
it
terribly
wound
strange.
up 3 people being killed at this
Yeah,
golf course.
he pulls up in a pickup truck. Okay, there are 2 people dead in the bed of the pickup truck. Now, they may not have been dead at the time he pulled up. We don't know. They said that the golfer walked up on a crime in the middle of its commission. That may have been killing one of those, and then he put him in the back of the truck. I don't know, but one of the victims was in the truck. It was his truck. He stole the truck from the guy. Or we believe he stole the truck. The golfer walked up, to see what he was doing, sitting on the green, and he shot him and killed him. Now, how do you end up on the green of a golf course in the middle of all of that?
Yeah.
Why do you end up?
Yeah.
Questions in my mind. Could you see that green from the roadway? Or would you have to be familiar with that golf course to know you could even get there? And even if you were familiar, why would you go there?
Yeah.
And then he got away somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know about this golf course. Most golf courses are not sitting in the middle of a city,
Right.
thoroughfare.
Right.
So, you would think maybe if there wasn't somebody following along behind him, that's possible.
Okay. Wow.
But maybe he had to call somebody. If so, there should be some pings on a cell tower somewhere.
Okay.
Should be DNA in the truck, hopefully DNA fingerprints. But, always where you think there's evidence, it doesn't always turn out to be evidence that you can use. It may
Just
be
keep an
smudged
eye-
fingerprints,
just
whatever.
kind of- just one of those individual cases out there, but it's just
Really strange.
Yeah. Meanwhile, what is your reaction to the Ronald Green video?
Bad. Looks bad.
This
Looks
is
bad.
Louisiana State Police.
Louisiana State Police. There was a car chase, and the guy had a wreck. The guy they were chasing had a wreck. And then we now see the video, which is what's brought all this back up.
Right.
And
Where had that video been?
yeah,
Why?
yeah,
there are a lot of
they had
questions.
it in their hands, but they didn't put it out there,
Right.
which makes it look even worse.
It makes it look even worse for Louisiana State Police.
Of course
sure
it does. Of course it does. And just looking at the video once again, as we've said in every one we've looked at, except for the George Floyd case, every other one we looked at, we said let's see what shakes out. Let's see what before we jump to judgment. The video looks real bad, and you got to remember when you've been in a high-speed chase, and then the car, the guy you're chasing crashes there. There's a lot of adrenaline pumping up the top of everybody's head, and we don't know what was going. We don't see everything in context. Now, what happened? The autopsy said, probably the death of the man was caused by blunt trauma to the head,
Wow.
and the doctor said could have caused by a wreck.
Right.
I don't know,
Right.
but the doctor didn't have the video to look at. Now he's going to look at the video. He's going to revisit the autopsy.
Autopsy after seeing the video.
And of course they're going. The FBI is involved, of course.
Right.
And they're looking at it, and they're going to go back and interview people. One of the officers that was involved, they found out once the video surfaced, he knew they were going to find out they were going to fire him. They suspended him, and they were going to fire him, and he killed himself. Well, he died in a one-car crash.
Crash. Right.
Yeah,
They
so,
think that he killed himself.
yeah, good thing.
Yeah.
But
he's dead already.
don't jump at the medical examiner because he didn't have all the information.
Okay.
You know, he can
Yeah.
look at the wounds, but he needs information to work on.
It's a disturbing video when you see it now, so we'll see what happens in that case where the FBI is involved. The FBI is also reporting that it infiltrated a Bible study group that was involved in the Capitol attack. Bible study takes on a different connotation here.
Yes, it
because
does.
the folks go in the chamber and they scream the name of Jesus and say, "Your name has now been mentioned in this house." Right?
Yes, sir. Yeah,
And so it's an odd mix of stuff, but they found what they consider just, well, disturbing
oh, very disturbing. Very
information.
disturbing. And one
They were
thing,
able to infiltrate the Bible study group.
you know, one thing you'll see, Steve, from Al Qaeda to the Aryan nations,
All right.
the extremist groups, every one that I've looked at, and I've looked at quite a few of them back in the day, somewhere or another they tie their beliefs back to religion.
Back to God.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, they'll twist around
doing
to,
what
to,
God
to,
wants.
to fit their
Right.
what they want. This group apparently was doing the same. They were at the Capitol. The main guy, at least, and some others were at the Capitol. The main guy met an undercover operative there at the Capitol, a D.C. undercover operative. That's what got him
Okay,
into
that's
it.
what
Later
got
on,
him,
later
okay.
on, the FBI got into it when I guess the D.C. guy called him and said, "Hey, y'all better look at this." So they got some undercover people in there. And that's when they started attending the Bible study meetings, and they had like enough equipment and paraphernalia to make, I think, 50 Molotov cocktails. A guy
Where
had an
were they?
AK-47.
They are from.
Right around the D.C. area,
Yeah,
Arlington,
okay.
Virginia, somewhere around
Okay,
there.
so
Yeah,
Virginia
around there.
folks, okay.
And they're openly, discussing secession and creating a new state
Okay.
somewhere there in Virginia. And one of the reasons I want to talk about, we got to understand people like this are out there. You know, they had the Moore group
Right.
up in Massachusetts blocking
Right.
it, and they had not fully armed, they had a lot of weapons and all this. Those people are out there, and if
And they declared themselves, they feel that they are an independent nation or
It's-
independent
it-
state, right?
it-
I mean,
it- when
they're
yes.
not subject to the law.
when you start looking at that group, you look at the Moors,
Right.
at the Posse Comitatus,
Right.
and at the sovereign citizens.
Okay.
You know, the Moors said all of a sudden, we're not related to the sovereign citizens. Well, if you look up sovereign citizens, you're going to go back to the Moor nation.
Okay.
You're going to see
Okay.
that. These kind of people, there are a lot of these folks out there. And every one of us is subject to come in contact with some of them. People need to understand, you know, they may believe different things than we do. They're still dangerous.
Well,
Don't
they
just
belong
say,
to a section of interstate. right?
yes, sir. Well, no, what they
Well,
were
they
doing,
had pulled over, Yeah.
one vehicle
And-
was gassing up another,
and they were heavily armed.
heavily armed, dressed in ninja fighting suits.
Yeah,
2 o'clock in the morning out on the side of the interstate,
Okay.
one car refueling the other, headed to a training camp supposedly somewhere,
Okay.
and had a standoff with the police for 8 or 9 hours, and showed their country's flag, they call it, and this stuff,
Okay.
and saying we don't have to abide by your laws at all.
Okay. Wow. Before we get away, we got a missing child up in East Tennessee.
Yep.
Still.
Near Rogersville, Tennessee. Yep. Way east, up
Yeah,
near the Virginia
right,
border.
yeah.
5-year-old child. Tragic. You know, we
We've
had
had a lot of Amber Alerts lately, seen it coming out of that area.
we have, and you remember a year and a half ago or 2
And
years
of
ago
course, we
now,
had the one in Memphis.
we had a little girl in Kingsport,
Yes, we did.
which is 30
Yeah,
miles maybe
right,
from
yeah,
Rogersville,
yeah.
where this little girl is, and it's sort of a simple. She's just gone. She's gone, and don't know where, what, why, anything. Just a mystery at this point.
Okay.
And that's very rural, mountainous areas up there. So if somebody could do something terrible to her and get rid of her, may find her, may not.
Okay. What's this about Community Policing Act that you got on these notes here?
That's a thing they're doing in Virginia Community Policing Act. It's,
Okay.
we got federal police reform act, and then
Right.
the states, a lot of states are having their own, just about everyone, I guess. But one in Virginia is going to start they're going to start publishing online the data on traffic stops.
Okay.
And it's going to do things like age, race, gender, ethnicity,
Okay.
that type thing.
All right.
I,
And the intent of this is
uh,
to see if it's balanced, or
I guess, Steve, that's just raw data.
okay.
That's not going to tell you a whole lot. It'll tell you who they're stopping.
Right.
It won't tell you. And also in this database, it's going to say what the eventual outcome of the stop was.
Okay.
But what would be of really value to people if we're going to judge who the police are, is to run a video and start it when they first see the car,
Okay.
and it'll show you why they stopped.
Okay.
It would be that simple.
Okay.
This is going to be data that's unanalyzed. It's just thrown out there, and it's able to give us a skewed
Is the
view.
department doing this? City doing this?
The state of Virginia.
State of Virginia's doing this.
Yeah, yeah.
For all departments?
Yeah, I think it is. That's the way the article read. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Of course, now, there'll be a lag, considerable
Right,
lag.
sure.
You got to teach everybody how to do it, and
Right.
you got to do it. You got to give them time to catch
Yeah.
on and this and that. But
Well,
we're
like
going to see a lot of things like that.
Like our classic story on data, Sergeant Harper, these crime stats are too high. Go back and redo them.
Yes, sir. I saw a department one time I just saw a department one time that it dropped their crime stats significantly because they just started calling things different things.
Yeah.
A burglary of an auto became vandalism.
Okay.
So guess what went down? Burgers.
Auto burgers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There
So
you go.
know.
Okay. Be careful of the data. We'll see. It's all part of an attempt, an effort to adjust and to balance all this between power and citizenry and everything else. We'll just see how it goes.
Have you noticed how everything's quietening down a little bit on the police reform? Have you heard them mention the Federal Police Reform Act in the last couple of weeks?
It has not. A pause for concern, probably a legitimate one. We'll see what goes. Jimmy Leach, the investigator. What's happening on the show Saturday?
We're hoping to have Attorney General from up northeast of us here.
Okay.
Golly, Bill,
Yeah.
can't think of his name right
Well,
now.
anyway.
But he's brand new. He was a clerk for one of the United States Supreme Court justices before
okay.
that, and Matt Stowe. That's his
Stowe.
name.
Okay.
Hopefully, of course, those guys one phone call and they're gone. But hopefully I can catch up with
Catch up.
you. Yeah.
Get it before he gets
Be
away.
very interesting if we can get it.
Jimmy Leach, the investigator. We're on the way to a conversation with Tom Scatera from the Pentagon. This is WNWS-FM in Jackson and WTJS-FM Alamo. Whatever we do, we're the talk in Jackson and West Tennessee.